One and all to the Cap Club Bar. I'm Digital Bacon. Joining me today, I'd normally say in the commentary booth too, because I'm getting into like caster mode here, buddy.
Oh,
but
God. It's a
we've
podcast,
got to
dude.
go to podcaster mode.
Podcast mode. In the bar. Nice and chill.
In the bar, chill out.
Grab a little beer. Maybe a little hamburger. The menu today is a hamburger menu, dude. I'm just saying. The bacon special.
What hamburgers do we have? Like, and do we have like chicken burgers or something like kind, some veggie burgers?
We even have veggie burgers. Everyone, dude. Everyone is welcome.
Have you had any veggie burgers yet? Because we're just going straight into podcast mode here.
I've tried it.
Have you ever had like some of those Impossible burgers and that?
Well, see, my sister is actually a vegan, dude. So you know, you might know the tradition, dude. Every Christmas we have this like indoor barbecue, dude, and like my sister is of course a vegan. So she has this vegan sausages and stuff, and vegan hamburgers. So I did try them, dude, and I'm not a big fan myself, dude. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the vegan stuff.
They've got a lot better. So of course, naturally, I'm a few years older than you two, aren't I?
Yeah, just a few.
I can remember a friend who was the same back when we were like the start of secondary school. So we're talking like 11, 12 years old back then. So 13 years from now. They were god awful. You would not touch anything that was like vegetarian, like the fake, because you would just call them tofu fakes. They were terrible. Now though, they're really good, and it is to the point. Some stuff is a little bit weird. Yeah. Like, do you have the brand Corn? Quorn.
It doesn't ring a bell. It doesn't ring a bell to me. But...
Okay, so this must just be a British thing, where they do a lot of like replications to like your chicken breasts, sausages, burgers, whatever, mincemeat, and they can be very hit and miss depending on what you get. Like the chicken is not proper chicken, and you can really tell that. But if you've got it in like a casserole or something, you know, like where you've got a lot of sauces around it, it's enough to not be a problem because it's got a fairly okay texture. The taste is what's weird, but where you've got overpowering taste, like I said, if you've got a lasagna or something, you know, for the mincemeat, it's enough to overpower it. So quite often, I was doing this before, like when we used to have like access to it, when we used because due to the pandemic and that, you got to change where you can shop and that to just be a little bit more cautious. Where we used to shop beforehand, quite often I would replace with the veggie stuff just because it is healthier.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's funny you say that because I did actually try a vegan lasagna and that's pretty much the same. Yeah, I would say. Like, it's not much of a difference. It's just that there are some, I guess, vegetables I don't really like tomatoes. So that was in there. It's like kind of a bad deal for me. But, you know, it's gotten better over the years. I agree. It's way better than it used to be. Like...
You say that, I prefer veggie lasagna. Like, I don't put the fake meat stuff in lasagna, and I don't even like regular beef mince. I just like veggies in there. I'm weird like that, I guess.
Veggie, man. That's fine, dude. Well different. That's what making beings fun.
Today, Chew, you, and I'm saying you because I can't remember, we've done Golf with Friends, but it's always been my perspective. But today is your perspective, and you're playing
my turn.
Shovel Knight, aren't you?
Yeah, dude. My favorite indie game.
And this was actually, I would argue, Shovel Knight sort of started the craze. I don't know if it was the big first one, but for me anyway, this is what restarted the indie sort of retro craze back in the day. With Yacht Games coming out with this one, and I mean, everyone knows it. It was still in production until, I want to say, spring last year. Or not in production, but they were still putting out DLC in that, weren't they? All for free as well, which is crazy.
Which I love them, dude.
Yeah, like, this is... I feel
really Becker.
the weird way with gaming going right now, because we're seeing so many... scummy tactics is the best way I can put this. Largely with the AAAs, but indie devs have got a weird time on their hands. We're seeing a lot of indie devs break out and become massive. Take just stuff like Fall Guys, Rocket League, all of that, for example, right? Where they're utilizing, you know, PS Plus, the Xbox Game Pass, whatever Nintendo wants to power, because Nintendo's also really gone big on the indie as well.
Yeah.
And they're getting, I would argue, too big too quick. So they don't really know what to do with it. And here they've kept themselves. Your Games have done a fantastic job. They fulfilled their promises of what they were going to do because it was all backing off. I can't remember if it was Indiegogo
Kickstarter.
or Kickstarter.
That's Kickstarter.
It was Kickstarter, right? And they completely went through because the stretch goals were the extra DLC, weren't they?
Yeah, it was just. The thing is, like, it blew up so well for them, and like, because I'm such a big Fortnite fan, like, I also did some research about the development and stuff, and just everything about Yakum Games. And it turned out that at the start and stuff, for the new DLC, they actually were losing money. And there's actually a period where the workers didn't get paid, just because they didn't expect the cost of making games to be so high, you know, because they were all pretty much workers from a different studio, and they had this idea to make their own game. So it was, I think, picture the first year they didn't get paid at all for their work. So no, they're quite lucky it actually blew up at some point where everyone just keeps buying it on different consoles. Because I own that on 3 different platforms now: the Wii U, the Switch, and on the Steam on PC. So it's kind of crazy.
I guess this is a weird area where game development is a whole new ecosystem compared to what it used to be, and there's so many things good and bad about it. Like recently, you remember with the CD Projekt Red crunch culture problem that they faced into, and now, you know, CD Projekt Red are all in the shit because of what's going on with Cyberpunk. But it's just the way, because these are forms of entertainment which are so obviously wrong if it does go wrong. I mean, the same can be said for films. What was it last year with Cats? When that released around Christmas and was just god awful, But films, you can do a lot of editing. You've already got the recording. You can do a lot more planning. With games, when you've got programming involved, and quite often it is largely programmed because that's where bugs are going to come out from, you know. It is very hard to preemptively know a bug's going to happen, you know, if anything, near impossible, and to try and fix it, you know. So, and when you make one fix, another bug comes up, don't it, quite often, because you've changed part of the code. And
pain of coding.
I feel like when it came down to CD Projekt Red and a lot of games that go wrong, it's not so much on the developers, because those guys want to make the best game they can, because, you know, that's their art. You don't get a painter, an artist that, you know, Picasso wasn't there going through and some guy came across and went, right, you've got to get that out tomorrow morning, and he's just going to rush finish painting. No, you take your time with what you can. The problem is the developers aren't the ones that are directly seeing the money most of the time. It's publishers, because publishers front the money for this game like a movie production studio, and they're the ones that receive the money afterwards. Also, good boss fight.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I mean also the shareholders, of course. The shareholders also decide kind of when something's gonna release, because, you know, they invest the money into it, and like they want to see results from it. So there's also like a big thing with CD Projekt Red is the aftermath, because they promised it to go big, you know. But you know, it blew up in their faces. So now a few of the shareholders are actually trying to sue CD Projekt Red for lying, pretty much lying about what was gonna happen. Even though I feel like it's kind of a hit or miss. Like, it's kind of your own responsibility if it goes wrong, because, you know, you're kind of betting if it's going to happen or not. You know?
Yeah. And we're getting to the point now where video games are getting so large. The largest, I want to say still, like, media production is GTA 5. Outtaking it was a Pirates of the Caribbean film. Don't know if that's still the case, what with the Marvel films and such. But it's to the point, because games can take absolute years to finish. And you if you can get that game, and we're moving into the climate where you've got games that are moving over generations, GTA 5 being a great example, Skyrim as well, where if you can get such a fan base that will buy it 2-3 times because they want to go back to it, but on their new console, if you offer very, I would argue, small, low effort upgrades to it, you know, just updating the resolution, improving the textures, because if you, for example, not with Skyrim so much, but you could just have your textures in a raw file, but when you put them into output in the game, you compress them down. Hence why you can see a lot of games when they move over to the PS5 right now, they had already had it planned with 4K textures, and when they released on the PS4, they just put out the 1080p model.
Yeah.
1080p resolution texture. So it's pretty easy to move on over. Final Fantasy V PS5 version just got announced, and you can just see a lot of that comes down to lighting, and it was a lot of like fog effects and such, just weld weather effects, alongside other things like camera modes and whatever, just nice quality of life updates. But that's the sort of thing which you've got to look at now as a developer or as a publisher, if even, is that you can't just expect the game to make the money in the first month. No. It goes over years, and that's a very weird case, because most of the time, most games make their money back within the first month, don't they?
Well, of course, it depends if it's a AAA developer or not, because I feel like it's very hit or miss with indie games, because the less trustworthy, I would say. Especially if they're on Indiegogo and stuff. Like, there are a few examples that just don't work out. Like DayZ is like also been a really long and painful process for a lot of people, So it's kind of hit or miss with those things.
And that's the interesting thing as well, because we're starting to see the main gaming companies. So Sony, Microsoft, EA's done it, Ubisoft's tried it, are going to services. Netflix for gaming. Yeah. Not to include Stadia, for example, but very similar thing. But that's just cloud gaming. So not offering, like I said, the Netflix style, but to offer a whole library of games for a certain amount of money. Let's just say $10 a month. And I've got PlayStation Now and Xbox Game Pass. I guess you could also include Nintendo with that. What with their retro games are technically that sort of same style, for the NES and SNES. And I truly believe that is where the future of gaming lies, because those main companies, especially Sony and Microsoft, just want you on their consoles, on your platform, paying that fixed amount of money each month. They'll take the hit on, having to purchase the rights to put that game on their platform. That's a nice little Easter egg, yeah. I never even knew that was hidden there. Like, you're fishing here because you clearly know there's a thing there.
Yeah, dude. I'm a Shovel Knight professional, dude. I've been playing this game for like 300 hours in total, on all platforms combined.
Basically, this podcast is the length of a run through of Shovel Knight.
Yeah, we're trying to do
that. That's what we planned on. Because Chewie went, I can do this in like just over an hour. I was like, okay, show us.
Well, back in my prime, you should say. Back in my prime, when I actually speed on a lot.
Back in the prime. We're expecting an hour and a half, probably.
Yeah, I don't know.
Being conservative, yeah.
Should be possible.
But you can see that now all Microsoft games are going straight to the Game Pass, and they've even done some big ones like Dirt 5. I don't know how well that's sold. I bought it myself, was not incredibly impressed by Dirt 5, but that's a topic for another day. But that game came out back in November, and that's already on Game Pass. Now, the Game Pass games and the PlayStation Now games tended to be games that are a year old, and they're the ones that start getting heavy discounts, 50% off in sales. So the devs know they've already made the money back, and this is just them eking out more money. So if Sony or Microsoft come to them and go, we'll pay you, I don't know, $5 million just to put your game on our service for, let's say, a year. Right? They're going to be there looking and go, that's extra money, take it. We've already seen the profits. This is just more profits at the end of the day, so why not, right? And that's a weird sort of concept, because people look at it, and for me, the reason why I got Game Pass anyway was because of the Microsoft games. But when I started looking into it, right now, the only Microsoft game I've got is Sea of Thieves installed. The other
good game,
two
by the way.
games,
Good game.
Yeah, great game. The other two games is Final Fantasy VII, the original one, which I am nearly finished with, and I've been absolutely loving it again, playing that on PC. I had it previously on PS3 on like a PS1 emulator or whatever, when they released it then. but yeah, loving replaying through that, and I can't wait next month for Final Fantasy VII to go on the PS Plus, because then I'll get to play that new one. I'm so hyped over it. I love Final Fantasy. But the point just being that I've got more non-Microsoft games installed, because now that's the point to me, and even to that point where I might consider actually sticking with the Xbox Game Pass. I've just got the free trial, that came with Discord, and I'm probably going to stick with that. I got PS Now because some of the PlayStation originals were on there, and it was super cheap. It's 30 quid or something for the year, so I thought, why not? Because generally with the PlayStation, all I do is their PS Plus games, which they hand out free with your online subscription. I'm probably a good advocate for this, where I don't like buying console games so much. I'll buy Nintendo games because you've got to.
Yeah.
But if this service is here, I'll use that instead of buying actual games, because I'm not too fussy about what I play. If there's something that interests me, I'll go and pick that. But quite often, these days I don't actually spend that much money on gaming. And like you said, indie games are a weird case, especially with all this, because if you've got other games that are already tried, you can see the reviews for them, and you've technically got them in your library, why would you go out your way to buy? And the best example for us personally was Phasmophobia, wasn't it? Like, we looked at that game. I was really hyped because I'd seen a couple of YouTube videos, and it was a little bit of a praise. And
I was kind of skeptical about it, because it didn't look as fun as like a different horror game. But it's supposed to be scary, right? That's the whole point of Phasmophobia, pretty much.
Yeah, but it's in a weird state where it's meant to be like a horror simulator. Yeah. Instead of like, it's taken a completely different angle on the horror format. Yeah. But even then, it was 15 quid, weren't it? Or
yeah, it was pretty cheap. Yeah, it was a small price for an indie game, usually.
But the problem is, indie games, whilst they need to pay that money, also they're competing with games that are continuously on sale. So would you spend 15 quid for this little indie game, or 15 quid on, let's just say, something like Just Cause 4, which always seems to be on sale, So
makes sense, dude. The game is it's kind of like a pointless game, because it's not actually a goal to it. You just use a meme around, I feel like, in Just Cause. Which is great. Like, if you like
it. The same for Phasmophobia.
Yeah.
There's no achievement system yet in that, really. I love it, and we're sort of done with Phasmophobia until like we get the next sort of day where all the boys are there like, should we play this? Yeah, let's do it. Or there's a big update.
The moon.
Oh, King Knight.
King Knight. Oh, the easiest one. Love to see it.
But indie games are in a very weird state, and I guess a lot of trust which hurt indie games was the whole early access format, because early access was great for indie games because they could get money whilst developing it, because that again, at the end of the day, when you're developing a game, you're not making money, you're only spending money. So for them to get money whilst developing really helps indie games develop. But there was so much trash on, just say, the Steam marketplace, weren't there? And it really just hurt gaming in general.
It's hard being an indie developer, because like you have no name for yourself, and you're going to a world where there's so many other indie developers, and you have to prove yourself that you're worth buying the game, So like, I feel like if a game doesn't look fun, like it doesn't have a fun style, because there's a classic style that so many people hype for the game, So if the style is not good enough already, then it's already tough to, I guess, get sold a lot, which will give you a name. Like for example, if you look at Valheim, it's also like an indie game. It's really big now. I think it's sold over 4 million copies already in the first 3 weeks, which is crazy for an indie game. 4 million in 3 weeks.
Which game is this, sorry?
Valheim. It sold 4 million copies in 3 weeks. It's kind of crazy. But
that's the trend at the moment. That's the hype game since it's come out. Ain't it?
I mean, it makes sense. It's a pretty fun game, and the style is like, it's kind of realistic, but also not realistic. It's also pixelated at the same time, which makes it a fun style. And it's a survival game, survival game with friends, which means if one friend buys it, the rest buys them as well. It's just a good plan by them to make like a co-op game, and it just proves that indie games doesn't mean they're worse than like a bigger survival game, like In my opinion, I feel like indie games are better than AAA games most of the time. Like, I'd rather buy 4 indie games with 15 euros than one AAA game. Because I think you get more value out of it.
I feel like it's a weird case because AAA games are still good. I just feel most of the time these days they're rushed, and that's becoming a bit of a problem. And we see quite often they just follow trends, whereas the reason why indie games are cool are they are the trendsetters now. They're the ones being experimental. AAA games are so you've got to make money off this, and it's got to be this set amount. There's expectations put in, or they're sort of weirdly used. My best example is Timefall 2. Again, said love this game, but it released half a year early just to ruin the launch of Call of Duty. You know, EA put this out to hurt Activision because the new Call of Duty was sort of copying what they did with Titanfall and were going to make it a futuristic shooter. And so they purposely put Titanfall out 2 weeks earlier than the Call of Duty. But this game was unfinished, didn't have a massive amount of content, and most people look at that and go, well, I'm just going to wait and get Call of Duty because it's the one that's already proven. Titanfall 1 was being a little bit experimental, you could say. Was really... It was an Xbox exclusive, so you didn't have any PlayStation people on there. You added some PC gamers, but it wasn't a big seller. It made money, but it just wasn't massive.
Yeah.
So Titanfall 2 flopped, and one thing I am very happy about is that they turned Titanfall 2 into Apex. You know, Apex Legends. They basically took the same engine and recuperated the money, which a clever way to do it at the end of the day. If your game flops, try recover
again.
what you can, put it out. And that's a weird thing we don't see much of these days, because even with successful games, you can do that. Take a look at... Oh, you're in.
No, let's go, dude.
So,
ooh. Intense gameplay for the viewers.
But take a look at Majora's Mask, right?
Yeah.
Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask was just Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time a year later. I think it was 2 years later or something like that at the end. Don't quote me on the time span, because I would have been a babby at that point. I never played it when it originally came out. I still haven't actually finished Majora's Mask. It's one of those games which I just cannot get around. I've got it on the N64 as well.
That's crazy, dude.
Have not, because I haven't got the N64 on me. It's over my dad's, and you know, Corona happened, so quite hard to get back. But still, why do we not see that? Everyone was expecting it with, like, we saw it with Mario Galaxy, right, to make Mario Galaxy 2, and everyone was
only one though.
Yeah. We were expecting it with Mario Odyssey. I guess, did we get it with the new Mario 3D World? With Bowser's Fury? Is that running off the Mario Odyssey engine?
It looks like it.
They run separate, don't they? You access them differently. They're not linked together. They're just on the main menu. You click one or the other to run whenever you want. And so I guess it looks like it's running on the Odyssey engine, but with the 3D World art style, graphics, whatever models. That's what it looks like. I guess you could even argue, and this is the really interesting one. You know, the new Pokemon announcement? We'll get on to Nintendo Directs and all of that
Arceus Legends
later. But Arceus Legends, that looks, and the speculation on it is that it's running the Breath of Wild engine.
Ooh.
Because they've used the same sort of like camera shots. It looks very similar. The proportions are pretty similar. Art style it can be changed about a little bit, because I was looking over that. You know, everyone was complaining about choppy gameplay in that trailer.
And the frames and stuff.
I'm wondering if it's half unoptimized choppiness and half that's just the style they want to go with, because it looks as if they're trying to make it all hand drawn and somewhat in that way, which is quite funny.
Oh.
And it just massively backfired on them because it wasn't well explained at all. You know?
I mean, they took more time explaining the Pokemon Snap than the new game. You know? I mean, it makes sense. Pokemon Snap is gonna be released soon. Like, it makes sense. But it feels like it was released reviewed too soon. You know? I think it was reviewed too soon.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, like it might be Breath of the Wild engine, but like Breath of the Wild looks way better than this game now. If you know what I mean, just because this looks so choppy and like the way the Pokemon moved, it just seemed kind of unfinished. And like there's still a year to finish it, of course. Like there's still a long way to go. But it just feels like it was announced too soon, and they were like, oh no, we have to do something now because this is a big year. You know, we have to announce it now.
Yeah.
That's how it feels like to me.
I guess this is also, like we were saying, deadlines. It comes down to the publisher, where they're going, we need to get this. Because you look at that, the Diamond and Pearl remakes, they look, from what they showed in the trailers, pretty much finished, you know?
Yeah.
And that's when you want to announce it. If you've got it to this state, I wouldn't be surprised if they are 90%, you know, they're just in the testing stage right now for quality. Quality will be finished by June, and they can just hold on to it. Because quite often, that's what you do with games. If you can finish them ahead of time, you do, and you hold out, because there's certain periods around the year where game sales are just up.
Yeah.
You look at the start of school holidays, like in the summer, hence why you get so many games sold towards the end of June, the start of July, is purely because kids then have a ton of free times and watching your games. You got Christmas, you've got Black Friday, you've got all that sort of like periods.
The big periods, yeah.
You've got September is a nice little period as well, because it's far enough from both where you kind of fill the drought there. And continuously around the year, you've got birthdays going off, so kids have money to be able to buy this. But yeah, you've got that drought period, which is the same as why you get games put on sale in March and April. That's a bit of a drought period as well.
I feel like October is just the event period. Everyone's doing Halloween, spooky things, you know. There's event season for every single game. Like, doesn't matter which game it is, they have something to do with Halloween.
And so, yeah, it's gonna be. It's weird to just hold back games, like I said, and I truly believe in the mentality. I can't. This is really. Is it Miyamoto at Nintendo? Was there going? A game rushed can very rarely be good.
Yeah.
But a game delayed until it's finished is always going to be good, because you finished it, you know. And that mentality, I feel, needs, like, we're at a weird point of gaming right now where you can't launch a game without bugs, and it really hurts.
I mean, it seems that everything is like a beta test nowadays. Like people buy it early, and then they're gonna fix it over time. And like after a year a year and a half, then it's finally finished. You know, that's how it feels like nowadays for every game. I mean, look at Sea of Thieves, dude. Like a great example. Like, it was so empty when it released, and now we're like almost 3 years in, and now it's such a different game than what it used to be. Even if the first year already.
Complete. It's good.
Yeah.
Like, I did not like Sea of Thieves at launch. Now I do, and at launch I played it with you guys and was just very much meh. And now it's one of the reasons, like I said, why I will keep getting Game Pass, I think, is purely because Sea of Thieves is on that. I want to play it with you guys.
Yeah, with the boys.
And that's another big thing with these Game Passes, is you and your friends, if you've all got the Game Pass, all have the same games. There's no more you've all got to drop 40 quid, because I don't know about you, but right now I need to go buy it if I do. But my friends on PS4, like my old school mates, are all playing Gang Beasts on there. Yeah. I've got Gang Beasts on PC already, but I don't have it on PS4. Luckily at the moment it's on sale down to 7 or 8 quid, but it's still that point of I've got to go out and buy this game to play with friends. And if it was a AAA game, let's just say they're all playing Call of Duty, then I definitely wouldn't buy it, because one, that's like 60 quid, and two, you're there going, you just feel left out amongst all your friends. But if you've all got this Game Pass, you've all got the same games. There's no excuse. The only excuse is, oh, I won't have it downloaded tonight, we'll play tomorrow, you know?
Yeah. Or if you just don't like it, I guess. There's also
true.
that reason, like Overwatch. The boys
but then even then, if you don't like it, you and your friends can go play a different game, because you've got so many on there. I was trying to not lie, because I've got a PS now. I was trying to do a similar thing with friends. Say, oh, if we're on the PS4, let's just get PS Now. They've just included F1 2020 in there. I've got F1 2020 on PC.
Yeah.
But I would love for all me and my mates to have a racing game and, you know, set up like a little bit of a tournament between us. That'd be great fun.
little home Grand Prix of the boys. That was fun.
Yeah. And whilst PS Now, I'm gonna say is very lackluster in comparison to Game Pass.
Yeah.
Some PlayStation have got fantastic what you call them, exclusives.
Yeah.
Like, their own developed games are incredible. Like similar, I would argue similar quality, especially these days, to Nintendo. They can be weird in the sense of I've just finished Days Gone, and that is a fantastic game, but is completely plagued with frame drops. And
Oh man.
this is weird, especially since they know what console they're on, right? It was developed for the PS4. As far as I know, there's not a PS5 upgrade enhancement version yet. So how do you develop for a console and be happy with numerous frame drops? You can't go 5 minutes without seeing it drop down to 15 FPS.
Yeah.
And the game runs at 30 FPS most of the time, it feels. So that's, again, part of the industry where probably the game was rushed out because they had to, Sony were paying for them to put this out, and it was a third-party studio doing it, so they have to comply with Sony because Sony's the one that's paying them,
Yeah, it's kind of weird though. It feels like how to explain it actually. It feels like they don't have the things to do themselves, and they always need a bigger company's money to actually pull it off. Like if you look at Xbox and PlayStation, they both bought a whole lot of new studios, and Nintendo barely does it ever.
Yeah.
The most recent one was Next Level Games, and even then it was rare for them to do it. Like they worked with Next Level Games for, I think, 15 years, 16 years, and then finally bought a company. That's really rare for Nintendo. But PlayStation and Xbox do it all the time. Pretty sure last year Xbox bought 100 companies or something, right? Something big, a big number.
They bought a lot
Yeah.
of them and bring them through. And again, you could argue for Xbox, a lot of people thinking that was largely just buying up for IPs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where they can just say they've got this and they can make a game of it. One of the reasons why they bought up Rare, most people thought, back, after the N64, Rare, the last game, if I remember right, Rare made for Nintendo was Star Fox Adventures. And after, because they were doing their own game, Dinosaur Planet, which funny enough actually leaked online. The N64 version leaked online over the last couple of weeks. And you can go download that. It works very weirdly with emulators, but if you've got an N64 flash card, apparently it works pretty much 90% right.
Yeah.
But the point still being, that game was ready for the N64, but Nintendo held back because they were like, oh, this game's quite good, let's put Star Fox on it, and just branch out a little bit of a spin-off action. This boss is crazy.
Yeah, this is a hard boss in my opinion. And especially in a run, he's so this guy's so random. He doesn't have an actual pattern. He just does whatever he wants. He's a crazy Marvel mask, dude. Crazy plague doctor.
So much, yeah.
There you go. He's still enough on me though, dude. I'm a professional gamer. You know that, right? I don't lose. I only win.
You just don't lose.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to the Game Pass we were talking about earlier. You were talking about on PlayStation, there was a year gap before they get released on the Game Pass usually. But when I think of the Ubisoft Pass, they release brand new games on there. Like Phoenix Rising was on there instantly with all DLC. Assassin's Creed was on there.
The same
instantly.
with the EA Pass, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where all their games like FIFA, Battlefield, whatever go up on there as well immediately.
I mean, it works, right? Because personally for myself, I bought it because I wanted to play Phoenix Rising, And I thought I could probably beat the game in a month, 2 months. But it's a pretty big game, dude, and I don't have all the time to play that game. So even now, 3 months later, I still have to pause, just to play that one game. So it just works.
So they've eaten out extra money from you.
Yeah. Well, if I play one more month, then it's the same amount. But I also have all the DLC I didn't pay extra for. So I think they're going to release the second one this month as well. So then I play 2 DLCs I want to play. But the third one I'm not doing DLC.
The one thing I would like to see change within the games, so like I said, I think that the Netflix library style is the way that games got to go to help indie devs. Possibly, because this could backfire on them naturally. I think we need to go from the current style to more of a Spotify format where if you don't know the business model of Spotify, all the money gets collected up, you know, when you pay your subscriptions, whatever, ad revenue as well. 30% goes to Spotify because, you know, they're managing, they're running servers, whatever have you. And then that last 70% is then split out per play. So, because AAA developers want their games in these platforms, but is it actually worth it for them? You know, instead we're seeing EA and Ubisoft put their own services out, and personally, I don't think they're worth it, because just a single, like, and I think that's going to hurt the landscape more, is if you've got to have, you know, 10 different services, right? You just want them all under one hub. If you've got the PlayStation, you want PS Now. If you've got an Xbox, you want the Xbox Game Pass. If you're a PC, you get this like weird little amalgamation of you can choose.
Yeah.
Because PS Now also works on PC as well.
Oh, that's pretty epic.
It's annoying where it only works on PC through streaming.
Oh,
so
that's
cloud
epic.
gaming. Yeah, it's much less epic. But the Xbox Game Pass has got differences between the Xbox version and the PC version, right? Like at the moment, if you've got Xbox Game Pass on the console, on the Xbox Series or the Xbox One, you've got EA Play as well, which is great. That's what I'm saying I want on there. But if you've got it on PC, you don't have EA Play. Yeah. They want to hash it out in the next like month or two. It says on the Ultimate upgrade that it's going to be coming soon. Whatever. But you see what I mean? Like if you could get those, and even if they're linked to, so all EA games are on Xbox, or Ubisoft games are on PlayStation. For me personally, that's a much better deal, because that sides your vote to which side to go on, and you want competitiveness between the two. Because, like I was saying, whilst I don't want all these publishers to have their own service, I don't want only one, because you need competition between different companies. That's why having Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft all vying out for the consoles is a great thing. And Nintendo sort of going dead on the Wii U and then Switch being completely different is actually not great for the industry at all, because Switch is doing its own thing, right? And no one really cares, whereas the other two are still fighting out, trying to beat each other, and that's just enough to keep the industry alive. Like Sony pushed Microsoft into buying all these different studios to get their IPs so that they could get exclusive games. That is not even questioned, right? Because Sony was always the case of, you get a PlayStation for the exclusives out of the two. Yes, the Xbox runs a little bit better, or you know, and purely just because of the porting was much easier from the PS. It was much easier to port Xbox 360 and PC games. The PS3 was just a little bit awkward. It could run better, but took a lot of effort. Hence why you had stuff like Skyrim on the PS3 had a massive bug. If your save file got too big, it would just get corrupt.
That's kind of cringe.
They had that problem recently with Cyberpunk, whereas if your save file went over 8 megabytes, it got corrupt. And so, horrid stuff there.
Yeah, that's not good for your game.
No, I have played too much. Now it has forced me to stop.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like, I kind of have the same thing with Stardew Valley, which is also an indie game, where I was pretty much at the end of the game, and suddenly one day, my whole game is corrupted. Like, what? Why, dude? I was having so much fun, and after that, especially with a game like that game, like, you just wanna keep playing, because you already have this whole story, like, you made your own, like, wife and children and stuff, so it's hard to start over again after you just lost everything you just did, you know? So, since then I don't play the game anymore. It's kind of sad, because I did like the game, I'm scared of it going corrupt again, but I don't know what happened to it. It's just a painful feeling, I would say.
Especially with Stardew Valley and those types of games, where even if you finished it, even if you've done everything, it's still proof of your achievement. Straight there is looking at your farm. I guess you could say the same with Animal Crossing. For me, that's the way it's sort of gone. Is even though I've done everything I want to in Animal Crossing, I know I can still get a little bit more. Like, I've still got one dinosaur skeleton left to go, buddy, and it is killing me that I can't find it, you know, because you get 5 a day. That's completely random. But yeah,
I'll probably help you out if you
and
want.
a couple more fish, but whatever. It's still that point of I'm not going to restart Animal Crossing whilst I want to make a new island and all that, you know. But it's just no. I like what I've got already, and I don't want to lose it. Which
Yeah,
sucks.
I mean, it's just your story, you know. It's your thing. You spend all those hours onto that game, and it's like your villages. Everything is yours, and it's kind of sad to start over with stuff like that. Well, I think at least, and I think a lot of people agree with that. Just because it's actually yours, and you did all the work for it, and it's just fun to see it back every now and then.
It's why Nintendo going. Oh, all the accounts share the same island on the same Switch is really annoying because I would ultimately fix that just by making another account purely for Animal Crossing to have a different island. And because I don't really play Animal Crossing online, you know.
We used to a little bit.
Like, we used to a little bit, and that was great fun. But Animal Crossing is one of those games where you just want to chill out and sort of like just be yourself for a little bit, you know? Just vibe. Oh, you got like a little.
Yeah, this is scary. This is scary. This is scary, dude. Woo, we're still alive. We didn't die there.
You did it.
Yeah, like I feel like if you look at the older installment for the 3DS, there's like way more incentive to play online because they have actually like a minigame island which you could play minigames on with each other, which is weird. They didn't add it on the Switch version yet. That'll be perfect, dude. I just play, especially when released, when Corona's new to everyone, so everyone is at home playing Animal Crossing. If you could play minigames on that, it'd be great. It would be so much more hype. So we'll be alive way longer, I would think.
I still think New Horizons, whilst they added a lot new to the series and such, they also took a lot away, which they didn't need to. Like, back in the GameCube one, you could get emulations of NES games. Now, I can understand why they wouldn't include that when they've got the NES service or whatever. But even then, just little cut-down versions would be great fun. And just to be able to play them with your friends, you know? But even then, just little simple mini games. Like, imagine if you could get a little island with like an RC kart track on it.
Ooh.
Or you have to get an RC kart like item, and it's just a little like the top down little tabletop one. Not anything massive, or even what do they call them? Is it the slot cars where they're on like a Scalextrics track? I don't know if you get Scalextrics in Holland.
Well, I know what you mean. Like a little thing in your head where you can decide how fast it's gonna go. Those things.
And just do something like that, something very simple, because that's what I think Animal Crossing is dearly missing is group activities, you know, as well. Yeah,
I mean definitely. Like the only thing you can do is do fishing tournament with each other, pretty much. There's not much
bug catching,
there's not really much more you can do. So kind of lackluster, which I think is weird because they took more away from the 3DS version than they should have. Like the whole island decoration is amazing. Like that is whatever I wanted pretty much, where you can set your whole island up. And like you could probably spend more time in it now, just fixing your island. But I just feel like there's not a lot of reason to come back playing, you know?
They added a lot of one and done things, that's it, where you've done it, that's good, great fun, you can't really do it again.
Now, now just catch some fish, I guess. Catch some fish, okay. but it's fun. I do like catching fish. That's pretty fun to do, but still, like, it shouldn't be the only thing I want to do, you know?
Oh, shiny boy.
Yeah, dude, fire boy. Oh, you're talking about me? Yeah, dude, about an upgrade, dude. Every time I jump down, I do an uber slash. Look at that. Does double damage. Yeah, dude, what's a good on track? What's a good on track? Yeah, see, we are 43 minutes in. We can easily make this. Speed on that.
I honestly don't know how far into the game. I've never got this far in Shovel Knight.
So
I keep failing on Spectre Knight.
So right now we have 4 more bosses to go. This one and then 3 more, and then we're gonna get to the final stage.
As you know, I beat Spectre Knight.
Ooh, nice, dude. Congratulations.
I think it's Plague Knight. I failed.
He is a really annoying one, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, his stage as well, dude. His stage is really hard. He's, I think, one of the hard. Yeah, he probably is the hardest one.
I love this little beetle that you're riding on.
He's vibing. He's vibing the lava.
His squishy little back, Anywho, we were talking about, we're in announcement season right now.
Yeah.
We've just had arguably 3 big announcements, and it's weird. 2 are Nintendo based, yes, but Pokemon is a side company to Nintendo, whilst Nintendo owns half of the rights to Pokemon. Or the Pokemon company Game Freak has the controlling factor to it, which
Mm-hmm.
is why they've got split out. And we've got 2 big anniversaries this year. We've got Legend of Zelda being 35, is it? I want to say.
I think you have 3. You also Donkey Kong, right? 40th anniversary, I think.
Is it 40th for Donkey Kong?
I think
we
it was.
haven't heard anything about Donkey
I think.
Kong.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. Something big at least.
I actually want to agree. I think I heard something about Donkey Kong this year. But yeah, then we've also got the 25th anniversary for Pokemon, which is massive, you know. And the big announcements, we'll wrap them up. Starting from Nintendo, have got
Golf.
Mario Golf.
Power and Smash, I guess. It's kind of a. Well, it's not that big, but still, like it's still a high moment to everyone. Usually.
Oh yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 characters in Smash,
Mm-hmm.
and they've got why am I blanking on?
They got the Triangle game. The Triangle game. The new
Triangle
sequel.
Oh, Octopath Traveler sequel.
Yeah, sequel.
Yeah.
They had what else? Did they
I
have?
think this just shows that the Nintendo one.
It was
a
pretty
little bit
bad. It was pretty
lackluster.
bad. Yeah.
Splatoon 3.
Splatoon 3.
I wanted to leave that for last, but I feel like that's the big talking point
Mhm.
of the thing as a whole. Splatoon 3 was the only worthwhile announcement in that entire thing. Like, me and you are both big Splatoon fans, and
Yeah.
I'll shout to anyone out there, play Splatoon. Even if you're not a fan of, like, first-person shooters, this is an over-the-shoulder shooter, as it is anyway, but it's not designed to be straight up killing each other. That's not the main objective. That's just a, I guess, style of playing. It's a tool, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The,
I mean,
the whole
it's just
idea
a different game. It's a whole different
is-
game than what you used to.
Yeah. If you're not a fan of Call of Duty, just give it a try. They'll probably put Splatoon 2 on demo, I would imagine, over the next couple of months.
Yeah.
Because they do that every now and then.
They
And
do that
definitely
demos.
give that a try then. Yeah. Because it is, I recommend it to everyone. The theming, the style, the single player as well is absolutely spectacular, and it's the type of game which I think everyone can find something they enjoy out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I mean, even DLC is really
Yes.
good. I'm pretty sure DLC is the best single player story they made for Splatoon so far.
Octopath Traveler
Yeah.
is Octopath Traveler, Octopath's expansion, where you go into the subways. That's what I'm going to say because I don't want to spoil it from anyone at home.
Spoiler
because
free.
We're sort of like trying to sell this right now, you know, to them, doing Nintendo's job for them.
You
It's
shoot.
just
There you go.
fantastic, especially if you're a fan of the first Splatoon. They've got some like reoccurring bits there because Splatoon 2, by all counts, does not rely upon Splatoon 1. You didn't have to play it on the Wii U. There's some little story elements that connect the two, but you can easily pick up on that. It's not a big issue, you know?
Yeah.
And Splatoon 3 is going to be very interesting because we saw the Eiffel Tower upside down in the desert. Now, it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be the Eiffel Tower, of course. It can be any other, you know,
Wow.
metallic wireframe tower, but it looks like the Eiffel Tower, so by all means, we're going to call it the Eiffel Tower, aren't we?
I mean, I'm pretty sure it is because the last Splatoon was Chaos versus Order, right? And Chaos won.
Mm.
So that's, I mean, that's how Spin does it. Like they do a last Splatfest, and the winner with the votes, that's the next game. The theme of the next game gonna be. So everyone already knew it was gonna be the theme of the game. They just didn't know when it was gonna release, you know. So,
So
that's
what
it
was
for me.
the winning Splatfest in Splatoon 1 then? Order.
No, they did a different theme, but I'm not too sure what it's called.
Hmm.
But this is like the thing, which is pretty epic. Like pretty much just that the people decide what they want next, you know. Which I think is pretty cool
That is very
from a, especially from Nintendo company, because usually they just do their own thing, but
Yeah.
informing anyone.
But the thing is, with Splatoon anyway, when they came up with this, it was entirely brand new ideas. And there was even that thing where originally it was proposed, or it got tested with Mario and co. being
Mario
the Splatoon,
Sunshine,
like
nice.
painters and that, yeah. And it just did not work. So they then also had rabbits as
Okay.
an idea for the characters.
I
It
respect
didn't
it.
work, and they went back to the drawing boards because it's just making family friendly. Because by all
Yeah.
accounts, Splatoon is squids, octopuses, and that. They're not generally the animals you would think of kids enjoying. You know, like they're very much.
I mean, they're squishy.
Yeah. But I mean, whenever you look at all of them, like the plankton, you've got crabs and all of that sort of stuff. Like,
yeah,
marine life isn't something children are massive on, especially in the West. I can't say for, you know, the eastern part of the world, but definitely in the West, like, it's cutesy animals. That's always the case, ain't it? Yeah. So I love Splatoon for that and stylizing it, making it so cool in its own right. Absolutely big up Splatoon. So
it just something I like, just doing something different and weird and new. You know, it's just something I always do. It's always different and weird what Nintendo is doing, which is why the Wii U failed, of course, because it's something different and new, which is completely flopped, which is like the risk of doing your own thing all the time. Which is also what makes it cool.
Well, the Wii U was just the, I guess it was a Switch before its time, you know?
Yeah, it was a shittier version to Switch.
If they could have everything the Wii U had, but in the Switch format, being able to take it with you, it would have been successful. I mean, you could even play games on the Wii U pad, you know, but you had to be within. It was quite a short distance to the console, weren't it? You couldn't.
Yeah, it was like 5 meters or something before it disconnected. If I remember.
Like, it was actually quite useful because I can remember quite often, you know, being a kid. I'm saying a kid. I was probably about 16.
Still a kid. Still
a kid. Yeah. But of course, I've always had Nintendo consoles. But your family wants to watch TV. You want to play a game? Well, you can. There's not a problem there. That's massive in being able to play full console games, just chilling. And the screen wasn't too bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't too bad. You know, I think the screen was about the same size as the Switch screen, wasn't it? I think a little bit smaller.
Yeah, and a little bulkier, of course. The Wii was pretty bulky compared to the Switch. It was one thick boy.
It was, but ergonomically it was way better than the Switch because of that, you know?
Yeah, it fits better in your hands, I guess.
Fits so much better in your hands. The Switch is too small. It's fine for kids, of course.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's their main market, so it don't matter.
You go to the last region. The last three. Those are the hardest three.
Can you give us a quick little preview? Who are these last three? Go on.
Here we go, dude. We have the Polar Knight. We have Tinker Knight, my man, in the Clockwork Tower. And we have the Propeller Knight in the Flying Machine. So you already know this one, Death Trap. There's so many pits you need to die in. It's kind of crazy. Well, I want to go to the town, but we can't, dude. There's someone in my way, so.
We'll fight them then.
It's speedrun, isn't it, dude? I thought we were speedrunning this, man.
Just fight them. It don't matter.
It's a restart, dude.
Go back to town.
It's a restart.
Who's this? Ooh.
It's really cool. Shaft Knight, they had like a perk. So if you didn't have enough money, you could design your own boss fight. So there are 4 boss fights in this game, made by people who donated to the game. Yeah, but I think it's pretty cool. But apparently this guy that made Reese, apparently is really rich, and he did it to multiple games. So yeah, like this character is in so many games, Reese. It's his thing, and he wants to make a staple in the game. So there's so many reasons around if you look for his character. Which is kind of weird, I guess. I mean, cool for you, you know, if you have a lot of money.
If you've got the money, it's not the worst way to just flex it, like.
Yeah, dude. I mean, every game there is. I'm in Rocket League soon as well. My own car.
You're using your money to actually bring enjoyment to others because it's a cool boss fight, right?
Yeah.
Did you just use like a Yu-Gi-Oh card or whatever on you?
Yeah. He's a crazy Pokemon kid, dude. He's loving it. He's loving the play cards. Not much for me, though, dude.
Oh, I don't think he's loving this anymore.
Actually,
dude. Picks himself up. That's dope.
Me name our pals, dude. Me name our pals now. Yeah, there it is. I'm no villain. We're fighting a common enemy. See, dude, we're friends.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Yes.
That's pretty good. Because of course they also make like DLCs, right? And this guy actually has a pretty big role in the story of Spectre Knight. So maybe next podcast maybe we'll see it again this game. Then we'll see the story of Reese. Who knows?
So bringing it on track, after we had the Nintendo stuff, which was a little lackluster because largely it was spent showing stuff we already had really seen, like, you know, the Monster Hunter Rise trailer and whatnot.
Just a recap, pretty much.
Yeah.
Although one thing that made me hype was Fall Guys on Switch. I think that's such a good inclusion for the Switch, having Fall Guys on there.
Yeah, the only problem was everyone knew it because it was a PlayStation exclusive, weren't it?
Yeah, but
for
still, it's still
year. So, and Microsoft had already leaked beforehand. They weren't meant to,
What?
but
They
they
leaked
was
it?
coming to the Xbox as well. So,
Oh,
by all accounts, yeah, they were just locked in for that period of time, and now they're coming. Is it June it's coming out or July? I can't remember.
It's somewhere in the summer. I'm not really sure which one it is,
Yeah.
but it's in the summertime. But still, like, it's still fun to know. I mean, same as Splatoon, like,
yeah.
we knew it was gonna come in eventually, so that's why I wasn't
Hopefully it's
so hyped.
cross-platform as well. Because I think it did say it's going to be cross-platform.
Well, yeah.
Which is
And
massive.
I'm also hoping a split screen mode, where you have split screen, because I think that will make it better.
Yeah.
So you can play with, I don't know, someone couch co-op.
Yeah,
Co-op.
couch
That would be
co-op,
epic.
Yeah.
That would
I
be
think
sick.
after lockdowns and all that, after Corona,
Mhm.
couch co-op games are going to be so popular because people can do that again. You know.
Yeah. I mean, golf is probably going to sell so well, I think, just because, you know, you can
I
play
think
it.
Mario Golf's going to sell really well.
Yeah, I think it's going to sell really well, just because, we don't know yet, of course, but I think we're still going to be kind of in this situation. Like, not as bad
Mhm.
probably, but still going to be stuck in here for a little bit, I think. And the fact you can play online as well, just makes it so much better. Just so you can play online with your friends or just with your family at home, you know. So I think it's going to
Mhm.
sell really well. That's just my opinion.
Good.
I mean,
Anyway.
the Lost Tennis game sold 3.6 million, which is the most a tennis game ever sold. So, you know,
3.6 is the most.
yeah, for tennis aces.
I always find it weird with Nintendo stuff because, of course, naturally, where it's only on Nintendo consoles, they don't sell a massive amount to me anyway. Because, like, I'm comparing it over to, hasn't GTA 5 just reached something like 200 million or something
Yeah, but
crazy like that? That's
GTA
a
5
hard
is
one,
the
it's
yeah, that's like the
Yeah.
most sold game every year.
Most AAA games, because you can count Nintendo stuff as AAA.
Yeah, of course.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But most of them sell, and they aim for about 50 million copies sold. So Nintendo always getting, you know, they seem to aim for about the 5 million mark. Is always super weird to me. But that's just because they've got a smaller.
I mean, the sport games are not
Influence.
really like sport games aren't really their main focus. It's just like a side thing, you know. Because there's one sports game, Mario vs Sonic. Those sell really well usually, like over 10 million and stuff. And like the sport games usually really low, just Mario and his gang.
I wonder as well if it also comes down to AAA games from, say, EA, Ubisoft, whatever, also cost a lot more to make, generally due to larger teams, making for multiple platforms, licensing. Like, whilst FIFA makes EA a ton of money, they probably have to spend a lot on licensing fees for anything from the music they put in the games to actually having the FIFA license, you know?
Yeah.
And the same goes for Madden and what's the other one they've got? And I'm completely blanking on basketball. No, basketball's 2K. Hockey.
Wait, what are you talking about? EA games.
Yeah.
You mentioned FIFA, right? Of course. What else you mentioned?
FIFA, American football, and I think it is ice hockey. They've got the licenses for.
Isn't it also cage fighting? It's not EA.
Oh, MMA. Yeah,
MMA.
you're right. Yeah, they do have that. But so yeah, those cost money because you've got to purchase the right to make the game on it, and so on and so forth. So, and then you've also got to purchase the rights of the the competitors. So it's always crazy stuff there, and it costs lots of money. Whereas Nintendo, they naturally own all their properties. They make their own music. They don't have to run into any of that purchasing fiasco.
Yeah.
Which is a big interesting thing, though, I will have to say, is with Pokemon Sword and Shield. They got, I can't remember the dude's surname, Toby, who did Undertale. They brought him on for a lot of the music, didn't they? And hired him in to help them out.
Yeah. I mean,
Which is quite cool.
this guy is really popular now with Nintendo because he was also in Smash. Like he played Smash of Sakurai at his home, dude, because of the Sans costume. Which also added the first ever music with a costume. So
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
yeah, dude, he has some history with his costume.
This is so cheeky. I love it.
Yeah,
Just
dude.
get back.
Dude, it's gonna be great for later on, dude. Trust me. The next boss fight, we're gonna need it.
All right. I'll believe you.
Pro tips, dude. Pro tips.
But anyway, second along the line was the PlayStation State of Play, which I completely blanked on. I was in the middle of
Oh.
playing D&D, and you said to me, "Oh, you realise the State of Play is in like this evening?" I knew it was coming up. I did not realise it was that soon. And when you sent it to me, it was half an hour from that moment in time, weren't it? And it was like, "Oh wow, okay. Luckily D&D is just finishing up. I can watch this and watching it live." Now, the State of Play wasn't too bad.
Well,
It was better than Nintendo.
nah, there's no way better than Nintendo, dude. The State of Play only had old games on there, dude. It started off with Crash and ended with another Final Fantasy VII remake. It was already announced, dude. So both, one already released, another one was already announced. The only new game they showed was that one game that's really Disney-like. It's the only new game they showed. So
Alright.
I would not call it better than Nintendo Direct at all, dude. Because Nintendo Direct is way longer and had way more games, dude. We're gonna be honest here, dude.
I'm gonna create spoilers. I think the Pokemon Direct was actually the best out of all of them. We'll explain that later, but yeah, the announcements this season were very meh, and it's gotta be Corona, right? Like,
Yeah, it probably just takes way long to actually develop games and stuff.
games have probably just had all their times, like across the board, saying game development has probably been halted by 6 months, a year, perhaps, where you're seeing teams that are having to swap over. The only thing that has got better in-game development over the last year is hiring, because previously a lot of people, if they wanted to get into game development, would have to relocate, over towards, I don't know, LA, Vancouver, wherever one of these studios are.
Yeah.
They'd have to completely upstart themselves, if not their whole family, to go there and work, because game development requires a lot of horsepower. A lot of these PCs now, they've all had to move to online to coincide with rules and such. So hiring's got a lot better, and possibly this could be a thing where you have an online team, work from home team, as well as a studio team as such, which could be great for the future. But the biggest problem with game marketing is why you have crunch culture and such, is that if you're not willing to do it, if you're not willing to follow the rules, like, again, if you're not willing to relocate, they can just hire someone else. There is an abundance of talent, to the point where a lot goes to waste, and that's why you get a lot of indie games come up, because that's guys that are going, well, I need to show off what I can do, and I'm going to make one, and most of the time they'll run themselves into the ground. The other way is just modders. Like, a lot of modders for games are there just showing what they've got, what they can do in, say, Unity and whatnot, and are just trying to hope to get developed off of some great mods. I know a lot of Fallout modders get hired off of the back of that, from Fallout 3 all the way to Fallout 4. And the same for a lot of texture artists, where you're just doing retexturing mods and showing what you can do and all of that. Because at the end of the day, what we're doing is creating a portfolio, right? But when you've got so many ways now to get educated within the gaming industry and animation, take, say, Full Sail University and that in America, and yeah, it is such a harsh climate. It almost feels somewhat similar to, whenever you see Japanese or Korean work culture over in the East, where they would work crazy, ludicrous hours, because if you're not going to do it, the next guy is, and you're consistently under threat for that. I know it's got a lot better.
It's a toxic
but it's just
relationship.
such a toxic environment, and it can only be worse in the gaming industry, because, like I said earlier, you're doing this because it's what you love, and this is your art, this is your expression. And coming from myself within commentary, the people that I can't understand within my industry are those that try and undersell each other, those that are trying to get a job by asking for less money, and at the end of the day, producing, tournament organizers that will hire people purely because they cost less. You should have self-worth, not trying to completely outdo someone else because you can be cheaper than them. because at the end of the day, that's all that's doing is creating a toxic environment where everyone's getting competitive, where you should be looking to propel the industry together whilst keeping friendly rivalry as such, where you're trying to push each other and just be the best that you can. I know that's a very naive way of thinking, don't get me wrong.
I mean, it depends on the situation, of course, like what situation you're in, because some people need that job, you know, so they don't really have an option, they just need the job, because nowadays, like, of course I can't compare with back in the day, but like, I feel like, when I at least hear those things, apparently in the Netherlands, like, 60% or something is depressed, like the people in the 20s and stuff, and it's so hard to get a job. Like you apply to 20 companies and you only get a call back from one of them, you know. So it's like really hard to actually get a job nowadays, I think. Especially now with COVID, of course, it's going to be even harder to get a job because people are downscaling the company, you know.
And a lot of that just comes down to the cost of living these days is so much higher compared to what it used to be. So people of our age group and that are in massive shit show. Like straight away, owning a house is such a hard thing to do now when you were young. Back in the early 90s, I believe, I actually saw a stat on this the other day, where the average wage has only risen by about 10,000 in the UK since in the last 30 years. But housing has increased by about 150,000.
Oh man.
Like the cost of a house. I know a yearly wage is completely different because, you know, it's over a period of time. But straight up, when you could buy a home in the UK back in 1990 for, I think the average was something like 57,000. Now it's something like 220. That's an incredible increase. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, the UK is weird because we've got massive divides. Like London is going to be way overpriced compared to up north. I live in the south of the UK and I'm probably going to have to move up to the Midlands just because my career path is a little bit less secure, so I've got to go for cheaper housing. I can't live where I live right now with family. That's just the way it is, not a problem. Yeah, if you can't handle that, you're not a realist. You've just got to accept, like, sometimes you got to do that to live. Like, it's what it is, right?
Yeah, you just got to take your situation, you know, you're stuck there, and then you got to take the best you can win. So, and sometimes you lose them. That's how life is.
Exactly. And so that's our biggest problem. It's just there's so many things out of control for our generation, largely caused for our generation and not even above. You know, we're talking, like, it's why you get the whole meme of boomers and stuff like that, is because there is a lot of hate, it's got to be said, but at the time it made sense for them. You know, there's a lot of short-term solutions and great advantages, but now it's not so much. And it's why at the same time, when we look at, say, climate change right now, and this is not going to be something that probably affects us, Chew, or doesn't hurt us. Like,
no, it's going to be a long period.
But it's going to be, something that happens 100 years from now, where it's going to really show its ugly head. And that's why, after we've just seen it on the economic scale happen over the span of 30 years, you can't just put that aside. You've got to change that, because we sort of come from a culture where you think for the short term, you think for yourself, and you can't. You've got to look to the next people. You can't be that short-sighted, because that just hurts society as a whole.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's probably like Elon Musk is one of the greatest people right now, working big things, you know, trying to move the human race to a new planet and stuff, just so survival is gonna be extended, you know. Like of course he does things wrong, of course, like he's not a perfect human being, but still I think it's a good plan he's aiming for, and I think it's for the better of the human race what he's trying to do right now.
And even then, like, to just, because I'm always the type of person that wants to look on the bright side, right? Like, try and look for a silver lining in everything. I think one of the biggest things to come out of Corona and all of us staying at home is not only reduced emissions, but the sudden push for electric vehicles. We were going to get them, and the same for electric focused energy.
Yeah.
But just where, for example, with cars, no one's buying cars at the moment. because you don't need to.
Yeah.
No one's using their cars really, you know. You are, because you still got to go shopping and whatnot, but usage is massively down. So car sales are absolutely through the floor. Now, car companies are having to adjust, so they've stopped their production or massively lowered it, which gives them the chance to retool up and be ready and make electric vehicles an actual thing. Beforehand, it wasn't cost effective to make that changeover because you've got to reduce your current production, you know?
Yeah.
So by all accounts, we've got we basically sped up, I reckon probably about 2 years ahead, just with the changeover in electric vehicles, which is a fantastic, I'm no stats or anything to prove out, this is just an opinion, but those at home, don't take this as, you know, this is seriously, we've gone 2 years ahead. No, this is just me
we are not
giving out a
classified.
weird arbitrary number, you know, like it could be, heck, it could even be more, it could be way less, it could be 6 months, I don't know what's going on.
It could be nothing, you don't know.
You know, Ford, yeah, it could, they could already been ready, just not wanting to make it public because that could hurt their own sales, right? If they suddenly go, oh, you know, they can't just straight up go, oh, don't buy this car because in 6 months we're going to have the Mustang E-Type, like electric or whatever, come out, because that means for those 6 months no one's going to buy anything. Keeping it on the topic of gaming, that's why you're not going to hear about the Switch Pro until I would argue 3 months before it comes out, because they don't want to stop selling Switches, you know? It's always the case. And it's just funny because you got to think of it as a company, as marketing. That's what it is. And so it's going to be. I'm really excited in so many ways once we're out at the end of this, and just to see what was actually done in the meantime. Because, like I said, energy production has made a massive changeover in so many agreements to, you know, we're going no brand new cars in the UK past 2030 can be petrol or diesel. They've got to be fully electric, which is crazy. We're not really ready for it at the moment when you consider your average consumer car, right? Let's just take the off the top of my head, the Renault Zoe is something like 25 to 30,000. I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but that car can only go 220 miles on a charge, which it's not that far, you know.
No.
In the grand scheme of things, you could go around the city if you lived in a town and only ever drove that, but going long distance is going to be an issue with it, you know. Like, perfect example, Chew, you and your family most summers go for you go on holiday, don't you, and you drive.
Usually just somewhere in Europe.
So 220 miles is
with
motorway driving 4 hours.
They could get you to somewhere in France, maybe. Somewhere southern France, maybe, if you're lucky, of course. So you can get somewhere, I guess. It's not that far, but you can get somewhere.
We need motorway stations across the whole of Europe, as well as UK, of course, to really up the number of like these charging stations, don't we? Yeah. For starters, because you're always going to have to charge them up, and it's got to be a case of if you're just stopping over, let's just say you're the type of family or whatever that just stops, pulls over to a motorway station every 3 hours, you know, have a wee, maybe get something to drink, just a rest, because you need that. And you should do it whilst long distance driving, just saying. So what if you can just park in a regular parking spot and there's the electric vehicle? What we realistically need, and I think it's in Teslas at the moment, is that sort of magnetic charging, you know, that you get on phones. Is it key charging, I think it's called, or something, or whatever, they like the mag lock on the iPhones, where you just put it on top of the station, you just park in that spot, and it instantly charges. It recognizes it. You send a bit of information, so you don't even need to plug into a booth or whatever. Your car just picks up, oh, you're in this charging spot, you're going to start charging now up until you're full, and then it locks off. We can instantly connect to it, and you've connected your card up to here using, and often it's using a lot of blockchain at the moment. That's where the research is going into, because this is going to be a thing. And then we'll just pay it off, and there you go. Your car's up to top, and all you've done is spent 20 minutes at a service station, which isn't the worst problem in the world. But the batteries need to get better, and that's the biggest problem with electric vehicles at the moment, is they actually pollute more than petrol
Yeah.
because the production of them.
It's just a weird case because they're trying to do it better, but at the end of the day, you still achieve the same pretty much as how much you actually waste. Like, it's just weird. Like they need to get back at production, I guess, to actually make a difference. Now they're doing it and stuff.
It's just new technology at the end of the day, though, and you just gotta accept that it's not going to be perfect, and you've got to make your way through this sort of like awkward period just to get to the point where you need to be. And those that are expecting like electric vehicles to be the answer in the next 5 years, even, or well, they are the answer, but I'm just saying like being viable in the next 5 years, probably a little bit in over the head, I think.
Maybe, dude. You never know. We don't know what Tesla's doing right now, dude. It might be working something big.
True. But Teslas are expensive, yo.
They are, dude.
Like, for listeners at home, because I'd imagine, like we always see across lots of different entertainments, our largest audience is going to be Americans, too. And so we haven't looked at the stats yet, guys. But cars are super cheap in America compared to Europe, you know? And
no way, we're gonna nasty. Dude, they're nastying us up.
It's just how I think we tax them or something like that. I don't know exactly, but a lot of cars in Europe are bought secondhand, aren't they? I know they're in America as well, bought secondhand, but I'm just saying we get a lot less brand new buys, and we have weird markets. Like manuals are still heavily sold in the UK. In Holland, do you get a lot of manual cars?
No, I think that's actually less, dude. But it's also it's way better nowadays to lease in the Netherlands, at least. I know that's in the UK, but it's better to lease a car instead of buying one, because then, you know, after a few the period, you can be like, you know what, I actually like this car, I want to buy it now, and then it's gonna be way cheaper. Or you can just, you know, just stop using it entirely if you don't like the car enough. So I feel like buying a car is not as big as it used to be, because it's just way cheaper to just lease it.
So across the board, that's the same. We're seeing a lot more leases come into effect as being the viable option. But like I said, the UK is a weird thing, because not only do we have our cars on to the rest of the world the wrong side of the road,
yeah, dude,
you know,
come on,
so
man,
you've got
you
to
crazy?
change the drivetrain up completely. But also, we like manual cars. We're a weird nation like that. We do have a lot of automatic cars as well, because that's the thing, and it's always going to progress. But we've got an absurd amount of manual cars. I think in America, there's something weird. Like only 3% of cars sold these days are manuals. The rest are just all automatics.
Yeah,
now that's a small number, you know.
I mean, I feel like there's also way more manuals over here than, I mean, a lot more automatic nowadays than manual, because it's easier, no? So why not people just doing it?
Yeah, why not?
I mean, I'm pretty sure you can even get your driver license with just an automatic car if you want to.
Yeah,
so
you can.
Make it even easier, dude.
Which shouldn't be a problem at all, because and again, that's why whenever you hire or rent a car, them near enough always just in automatic, because then you're not, because everyone that's got a manual can drive an automatic. That's just is that thing vomiting rainbows?
Yeah,
I love
dude.
this. Yo,
the holy bird
go.
statue. The bridge of hope, dude.
The bridge of hope. I love it so much. Sorry. But yeah, it's like, why wouldn't you?
It's threw him off a little bit.
And it just comes down to the, like, you just gotta go with the global market. The UK will give up on
What they do, dude? What they do, dude?
At some point, we will.
Brexit and stuff, dude. I know, dude.
Bend, you flex into it. It's fine. Like we said, where we're going over towards these manual cars, I think, all these electric cars. I don't know of any electric cars which are manual. They all seem to just be going, or if they are manual, it's the flappy paddle gearbox, you know, on the back of the wheel.
Yeah.
So I think that's just the way we're going. And it's because you're retooling. You just go, fuck them. We don't care. They can just, they're happy with it. And most people now, like, if you're in the UK and there's a flappy paddle gearbox, you're there like, oh my god, that's luxury for manual.
Oh wow, he's a rich man.
Because it's like a sporty mode, right? Nah, it's just one. It's way easier than doing an actual proper hate shifter, but for them because they've already got the automatic gearbox in. So all you're doing is just forcing the gear shift. So yeah, it works. But it weirds me to think in 10 years' time, manual cars won't be a thing.
Probably
You
not.
know?
I mean, I guess it also depends. Like, what happens if your car fails? You know, like what if it doesn't work correctly? Like, it's gonna be a backup mode where you can go manual if you have to. You know. But I feel like it's not gonna be.
It's good to have them as a safety thing, but
Yeah.
on that point, have you seen like what happens when, for example, your electric vehicle just runs out of power?
No, what happens?
Some of them just literally lock down, put on the brake, and you are stuck, and that is scary.
Then I will be like, oh, guess I'll die.
Yeah,
That's not really safe, dude.
you have to call up like Green Flag, RSC, any of like the breakdown covers or people in the UK or wherever in Europe, whatever. I don't know brands in that often elsewhere, but you just literally go, hey, yeah, I broke down with no power on the side of the
Help
way.
me,
Can
I'm
you just
stuck."
bring your truck with a battery in it? And they come along and just plug into your car. That is, that's it.
AAA batteries
so
and put them in there.
One thing though, because I've never heard anyone do this, but it's got to be a thing, is people that put the wrong type of fuel into their car. Like, how many people have put diesel into a petrol car, or the same going the opposite way, and just completely, buggered up their car?
Probably a
Especially
lot.
like with renting. I can imagine that's the thing with renting. Say like you're hiring a moving van because you need to move house, and you're so used to putting petrol, but the van itself is a diesel, so you've got to put diesel into it, and you just by habit go and put petrol in. That is such a valid reason to slip up, and I could see that happening so often.
Yeah.
And then you got a cool down breakdown. You've buggered the engine as well in a lot of ways. Not the worst fix, but yeah. That
You
with
go.
electric is not a problem, is it?
This is the last boss out, dude, and then we go to the final stage. It's
Ooh.
crazy, isn't it?
Is there a boss in the final stage?
There is, dude. Was gonna do a little bush rush as well at the final stage. Even better, huh?
Oh, damn.
Well, that was easy, dude.
Well, yeah, he was easy.
Oh, this is gonna be intense, dude. Oh man, the boss rush is kind of scary, dude. Luckily, he's not on the Game Plus mode because then I do double damage, so we should be fine, dude.
Maybe next time. Maybe sometime in the future we'll revisit.
Oh,
Shop Night Big
okay.
Game Plus. Who knows?
You never know, dude.
Yeah. We've really had some odd topics there that we weren't going into. So let's bring this back to the
Pokemon.
final.
Back to
To
Pokemon.
Pokemon, the final presentation, because Pokemon is, I think, still. I don't know if Marvel has completely, outdone it. But I think Pokemon is still the largest franchise in the world because they have so much merch is sold on Pokemon. It's ridiculous.
Dude.
Like, have you seen the shirts that they've been selling over the last year, where you get like custom-made Pokemon shirts?
I mean, dude, I've seen the presentation, and it was mostly just another history, you know. So often they just showed hashtag playing cards and hashtag anime and stuff, dude. Like that should tell you enough about the brand, I guess.
And Pokemon is moving to a lifestyle brand. Beforehand, they were gaming. Over the last, I don't think it's that long, but let's just say 5 years globally. They probably had it more in Japan than that as well, because, just the way it is. We don't know a massive amount about that side of the world, because you still get a lot of East-West divide, don't you? Where it's just media, as it is. But you're now getting stuff like... The one thing that never came up in the Pokemon Presents was that Pokemon Sleep, I think it was called. They announced it back at E3, where it's meant to be a thing you put it on whilst you sleep and it measures you like a well-being tracker, but also it had something to do with Pokemon. It was super weird, but we haven't heard about it since. They just announced it and then nothing. So that's odd. But you can see not Nintendo, but Game Freak themselves, I guess, probably alongside Nintendo, but the Pokemon Company as a whole want to be in every form of life because it's such a wholesome brand, whilst at the same time being so good for kids. Kids love Pokemon. You know, it hits every single box you've got. And it's always the thing of when you look at the starters, right? You get the cute Pokemon, the cool Pokemon, and then I'm trying to
The weird
think
one.
what the other... you get the one that's like, so you get boy Pokemon, girl Pokemon, and then the one that goes for both, really. So take the most recent. You've got Sobble, Grookey,
Cute lizard, yeah,
and
cute
you've
lizard.
got Sobble's the lizard,
Yeah, the
the
cute
blue
one, dude.
lizard, Grookey's the green bunny, and then you've got
Red bunny, you mean? Fire bunny, right?
Score bunny. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. I think it's sporty, cool, and cute. That's the pattern they always go with. So
Ooh.
you've got Score bunny who appeases both boys and girls. It's a cute rabbit that's also quite sporty and cool. You know, and then you've got Grookey who definitely goes to like the boys. He's a little drummer monkey. It's cool. And then you've got Sobble who is just a cute little lizard. So
Yeah,
they
dude.
can hit so many different markets at the same time, and it's great. You can all notice how whenever there's new starters, you get like that competition rivalry between which starter is the best, and we don't even know stats or anything like that. It's purely off
Looks.
looks.
Yeah.
Right? So whilst people don't want to say they're shallow, most people are pretty shallow when you're just going straight from looks of a little animated character.
Dude, these man, just go lizard all the way. It's always lizards. That was the best. dude.
I was about to say no, but then I was like, Charmander is one of the best. Yeah, he's a little
Charizard, the
salamander
most
boy.
hyped one.
Charizard
Yeah.
is always the hype.
What else?
Notice
Yeah.
that, like, whenever it comes to a new pack of cards, Charizard Shiny is always the best Pokemon card.
Yeah, dude,
Like,
it's
or
cool-
the
cool
one that's
lizard.
always hunted for.
Cool dragon.
Cool lizard, yo. Heck, that's why, like, the original Pokemon games released as Red and Green in Japan. It was when it went to the West and the re-releases in Japan that they went Blue and Red, because the green Venusaur did not sell. Who wants to buy a plant when you got a cool red lizard
Yeah, dude.
dragon
what the heck?
there? You know,
You're crazy if you go for the plant.
Blastoise is pretty. I like Blastoise. He's dope.
Turtle. I mean, he's turtle. He's pretty good, turtles.
But then after that, of course, they went to the legendary box art legendaries, which is always quite cool to do, and it's a smart move because at the end of the day, that's you can get all three of the starters, but you can only get that one legendary there. So it works because you're dedicating to which legendary is best, right?
Yeah.
I will say when it came to like the newer legendaries have been a bit weird and in the sense of when it came to Sun and Moon, you wanted both. They're both cool legendaries. But when it came to Sword and Shield just now, there's so little difference. They're both sword. They're both wolves
Yeah.
that have a sword or a shield. Like,
I mean, Sauron is so lazy. It's literally just a dog holding a sword in his mouth. Like, wow, dude, that's a great design. like Chewie at least kind of cool to shield, you know, like it's implemented into his body, but he's just holding a sword. Like, wow, man, that's epic. Nice one.
like, and it's just annoying that you get version exclusives in both. Like, it's to promote that you and your friends realistically buy different games so you can get them all. And Nintendo uses the excuse that you have to get the version exclusive of your friend, and it promotes playing together. The Enchantress.
No, who could that be, dude? Who could be the Enchantress? Oh, man.
Is she the big baddie?
She is the big baddie, dude.
Oh man.
And she's also...
You haven't seen her up to this point. She's just popped in right now, ain't she?
I mean, if you paid attention to the start, dude, she was in the little story, dude. The first cutscene. Oh, look at that, dude. She had a boy, Black Knight. No, my friend.
No.
Oh no, don't do it. Don't do it. I have the high count. Here you go, dude. But this tune is amazing, dude. I love this battle tune.
Yo, this dude is dope. I love him.
Oh, I lost the tennis battle, dude.
Holy-
Oh, some bird wings as well.
Dang.
Yeah, this tune is amazing,
yeah.
dude.
It is. Hope you guys at home are enjoying the Shovel Knight music, by the way. Pretty dope.
Oh man, he's insane. He's insane.
Ooh, meteors coming down. But
Come on,
yeah,
then.
going back to the thing of Pokemon. So the three things, not announcements. I'm going to say because there's 2 announcements, 3 things in their presents. There's Pokemon Snap and quite a deep look into it. Like compared to the other directs and that, this you actually had new stuff about it, you know, and they went quite deep in Pokemon Snap. They probably didn't need to explain it a lot, but
I mean, it's the most recent game, so they're gonna do it anyways. You know, just how it goes with new games. Like if you look at the state of play and stuff, they just explain the new games for some reason.
True. And Pokemon Snap is a sort of obscure spin-off anyway, because you got to think, this is the second game. The first one came out on the N64, so that's way ago. You know, anyone that's below, I'm going to say the age of 16, probably has never played Pokemon Snap 4, and by all accounts, this could be a brand new thing in the series for them. They don't even know it exists. And so, yeah, by explaining what it is not a bad thing at all.
Yeah. New audience.
But the other 2 that came out are very really conflicted, aren't they, with people at home? I've seen a lot of people that are happy about this and a lot of people that are really upset. We'll start off with the remake of Diamond and Pearl. So a friend of ours, Bunny, is I feel like he's been personally insulted by Nintendo for this, you know? Like he feels
in his face,
like he's
dude.
been attacked. Like yeah, he did use that phrase. They've spat in his face over this. And I feel really weird because the chibi art style is really what is sending it, which I think is so funny because these games are probably going to be so true to the originals, aren't they?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a problem because we haven't seen anything new included in them. One thing that got pointed out, and I saw on Twitter, which is quite cool, one of the like DLCs as such, or you know, exclusives, because during that Diamond and Pearl, because it did come to the DS, you could go connect to the internet and get like the legendaries, like when mythicals became a thing.
Yeah.
Back on the I can't remember if it was it was in Crystal as well. But back on the Game Boy and the Game Boy Advance, you would have to go to certain shops to either get a code or for them to plug in the game cart to update it, right?
Yeah.
When it came to the DS, you just connected to the internet to get your mythical stuff. And mythical, for those at home don't know, maybe you're just not a massive Pokemon fan, they're the legendaries which aren't in the game. You have to do certain stuff to get them.
Ooh,
yeah, generally they're like expansion gear as such. So the legendaries, but a little more special, I don't know. Like legendaries you can always get. They're normally part of the story. Mythicals are just extended content.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm going to explain it. I don't know if that's the ruling for it, you know, like the official Nintendo word, whatever. But by all means, you can see that there's a trader where you can get the alternate form for Shaman in the actual trailer that Nintendo put out there in the that the Pokemon Company put out there. So you know that there is the extended content which you would have to go download in the game from the start, you would assume, because it's already shown that. So that's good. The only problem is that this remake is being done by a third-party company. Whilst Arceus Legends is being done by the Pokemon Company themselves, this has been done by a third party, which is a little odd, I'd say. And that's why I think, for me personally, this could be seen as a little bit iffy for people. And I don't know.
Yeah.
The large reaction is just the chibi art style. But for a lot of fans that look deeper, this being done by someone else probably takes away a lot of trust in what's going to happen with it, you know?
I mean, it's weird about the chibi art style because you know that I'm not a Pokemon fan or player at all. Like I don't play Pokemon Go and Pokemon Modern Minecraft, so like I don't really care about Pokemon. So I did some research about the uproar about it being chibi. But even the original was chibi style when I looked at it, you know. But it was just pixelated chibi style. So
exactly.
Like I thought it was a more like realistic version in the older version, because I have no idea how old the game was anyways. Like for me it was all completely new. So people complaining about it being chibi and looking childish is kind of funny because it already was childish and chibi, but you just pixelated because of the DS, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just kind
So
of
you've
weird.
gone from sprites to 3D models, but if those sprites were 3D models, they
Yeah.
would be chibi.
Yeah.
So
Don't complain.
I do feel like one of the weird things though is when you go into a fight, like start a battle, then the
Mhm.
models go normal. That's weird for me. But you had that in the games anyway. You know, they had non-chibi models when you go into the fights.
Mhm.
So by a lot of accounts, do you have to fight all the previous bosses one
Yep.
after the
This
other?
is the gauntlet, dude. The boss at gauntlet.
Okay. And you're going backwards, I'm assuming.
It's
You
randomized.
start-
It's randomized how it goes.
Ooh. So it can be different each time,
Yep.
the order.
So
Nice.
I'm actually lucky because this boss fight is the only one you can die in one shot. Because if you see the spikes at the bottom, they can kill you in one hit. So I already did the hardest one, first fight, which is pretty epic.
And
Check
King
that
Knight's
about-
pretty easy.
Yeah,
as
he's
well,
easy
ain't
one. I don't even need to use anything on him, to be honest. I can just use my spade on him. Okay, dude, he's gonna destroy it. Anyways, back to the Pokemon bit, dude.
he? Yeah. So, by all accounts, I've got a lot of confidence in this game because, you know, hopefully it should be good. The only problem is just extended content because whenever you look at Fire Red, Leaf Green, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire,
Mhm.
they added a lot of new content. The biggest one being Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, and I think this is why Bunny got hurt most. Added, it was like an incredible remake, and that is what you want. You want what you already know, but completely wrapped up in a new package. So there's new stuff, but then also everything cranked up to 11.
Yeah.
And so far, this just looks like it's meant to be a faithful remake.
Yeah.
Like if it's the exact same game, as a Pokemon fan with the current style, they've changed what they were doing with the remakes. So rightfully so, you feel like you're missing out. They
Mhm.
didn't give it the proper treatment. Like
Well-
these are meant to be the deluxe editions as such. In other like franchises, that's what they
Mhm.
would call this sort of like reimagining.
I mean, once again, it's also again hit or miss because if you look at Pokemon Eevee and Pikachu, I think it's called, like the way they did it, a lot of people are disappointed because they kind of broke the game with their "Let's Go" function in there. So like, I asked Barney afterwards like, how he felt about it, and apparently to him it wasn't because of the chibi style he didn't like it. He thought the graphics were too bad for the game, you know. And he's actually glad they didn't change the game too much because he was scared of it being "Let's Go" and "Let's Go" Pikachu
Yeah.
Eevee.
And I feel a bit weird about that because I was like, so for everyone at home, I did not see a single person guess this Arceus Legends, no Pokemon Legends Arceus. That's the name.
It was leaked
It's
though.
confusing as fuck. No one predicted that. Everyone thought we were going to go. I think the name going around was Pokemon Let's Go Catching, and it was going to be a Johto version, the second gen. And you're going to get this. We keep going with the remakes, but then also we get a third remake in the Let's Go series. And that makes perfect sense, you know, because the Let's Go games realistically are aimed at a younger audience because they're just a little bit simpler in
Mhm.
playing, but also a more casual audience that just like the process of, you know, they're much easier to fill out the Pokedex from my understanding
Yeah.
because, you know, it's a lot easier to catch them. You can build up and they play in a slightly different way
Mhm.
while still having the core battling aspect of Pokemon. And so for them to go with this new style, which with Pokemon Let's Go Arceus, we'll go into it, looks to be running on the Breath of the Wild engine and seems pretty seamless, like by all accounts. They said that, oh, it's taking place in Sinnoh, which is the same as Diamond and Pearl, for anyone that didn't know.
Thank you
And
for that information. Because I didn't
yeah.
know.
Because I know for Chewie, you're probably there. Like, Sinnoh's just a word, you know? That's
Pokemon.
the region. It's based on Hokkaido, which is like the furthest north place in Japan, or
Oh,
furthest
okay.
north island. But like, it's a very snowy, cold climate, whatever. So they've gone, oh, it's based on that, but it's not exactly the same because this is years and years beforehand. That's more just them saying if there's any change ups, it's because it's in a different region. Because from the looks of it, there's, you know, you've got routes in Pokemon, right, where it's just the path you follow along because Pokemon's a linear game.
Mm-hmm.
It's for them to say, "Oh, we've made this open world, thus it's not going to flow the exact same as the other games."
Quick question, dude. Should I save them or not? Should I help them out?
Save them, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Go on, help the knights. Help the knights.
I will, dude. Just because of you, man.
Oh, cute.
Look at them, dude. There they are. They're happy.
We make friends here.
Yeah, dude. Everyone's allowed
Is
to
that
come.
Spectre Knight without his cape?
Yeah, dude. Because he's actually a dead person. That's why I expect that. Makes sense, right?
Mm.
He's death itself.
Right, and final boss coming up.
Yeah, dude. Don't forget, dude. The Pokemon game did get leaked though. The open world Pokemon game. It did get leaked.
Pokemon game?
The open world one. At least, what was it called again? I forgot the name.
Pokemon
Arceus?
Legends Arceus.
Yeah, that game did get leaked. So I don't know by who, but when I was watching a Dutch stream, of course, when they were looking at the podcast, and apparently it's already leaked for it to be open world. Like, well, of course, we don't know how
I can
important it
remember
is.
seeing the stuff about, oh, there's going to be an open world one, but no one really took it seriously, you know? Because it was so unexpected. Also,
guess.
this looks to be the hardest boss so far.
The boss didn't even happen yet, dude. Monka.
Yeah. Just this stage of trying to survive, jeez. But that's cool. I like that they're splitting out, and we always get spin-offs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's tons of them. With Pokemon.
Oh,
Like I
again.
said, it's one of the biggest franchises.
Yeah.
When I first saw this, like the makes of it, like the announcement trailer, I was thinking it would be closer towards a Pokemon Conquest sequel, which, for those at home that don't know, is like a Final Fantasy Tactics version of Pokemon, where you go like a tile-based, turn-based combat system. It's very confusing to explain. Great games nonetheless, and Pokemon Conquest. If you're a Pokemon fan, never played it, go play it. It's great fun.
Money back.
Where you fight Pokemon in a very different way. What are you doing, fishing?
I want my money back, dude. Give it back. Thank you. I'm fishing before money, dude. My money back. It's my money.
All right.
We need
No,
it.
I respect it. I respect it. But this, came out of the blue, and a lot of the hurt over this game, whilst it is massively hype, like, this is cool. Everyone's been wanting an open world Pokemon game for years and years and years. The frame rate did look laggy. The art
really
style
laggy.
is very divisive, because whilst it looks very pixely and not very high quality, it is very stylistic. It's got to be said. And like I said before when we came into this a little bit earlier, I think the lagginess is half it not being optimized and not running very well, and half that's what they're going for. Is more of like a hand-drawn style, you know?
Well,
and so yeah.
I feel it's kind of early to speculate about that stuff, because clearly it's way too early to actually have any guesses, because they have still a year to go, probably even longer, a year and a half, because I doubt they're going to release it at the start of the year, you know?
It should have been a thing. So we know, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, terrible first names. You know, when you've got Fire Red, Leaf Green, good names. Heart Gold, Soul Silver, sure. Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, banging, because that really fits in with the Omega and Alpha sort of versions in the game.
Here we go, dude.
Of the legendaries. But Shining Pearl, Brilliant Diamond, where?
It's brilliant. It's a brilliant name. It's in the name. It's brilliant. Okay. Don't doubt.
All right. Hopefully it turns into a thing, but I can't see it with that.
Where it is, dude. The final moment. It took.
There we go. I'm never going to need to play Shovel Knight 2. I've seen the entire game be playthrough through.
But now
your expertise.
No, you can be my time. Do you have that? Isn't it epic?
Oh,
you can be my time.
Not going to happen. But I don't have the time to get this good at Shovel Knight.
It's not hard, dude. It'll be good. It'll be good, man.
I will finish the game eventually, but yeah.
Yeah, you will. Doubt.
But yeah, so
there's a reaction
back
there.
to the topic. They should have, when they did a full look, you know, because Nintendo's the Pokemon Company, I can see come around October they'll do like another announcement trailer video, whatever, saying, "Oh, this is what welcome to the Sinnoh region," all of that. For the people that didn't play the original game, because the games are, I'm trying to think, probably 15 years old, 16, 17 maybe even.
18 maybe.
Possibly.
Can I get a 20 and somewhere?
I want to say 2006, 2007. For some reason, is in my head for those ones, but I don't think it's that late.
It is light, my love.
My love.
Yeah, keep going, dude. You can keep going.
Oh, it's a very cute moment.
Yeah,
I love
okay.
it.
If you wanna keep watching, that's fine,
I'm
dude.
in for it. We'll keep watching.
Well, if there are any listeners, we're sorry.
Sorry.
It's gonna be a sad moment.
No, keep talking and keep talking. But
Oh, we're not done yet, apparently.
we're not. Oh man.
Stay close to me. Oh no, what's that?
Someone in the background. Oh, it's
The
the
actual-
true form of the Empress.
the actual
oh my God,
Enchantress.
that's so epic. The podcast listeners at home wishing they went over to YouTube, to the Cap Club YouTube
Do it
channel.
now, quick!
Go search it now, quick now. You've got time.
You're missing out.
But yeah. I've lost track of where I was talking about.
About Pokemon names, dude. Talk about Pokemon names.
Yeah, but anyway, so around September, October time, they're probably going to have another Pokemon Presents, aren't they? Just to explain what Sinnoh is to kids right now that are, let's just say 14 and below, that haven't played Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. More casuals, because whilst that sounds silly to those that, even if you're a young teenager kid right now,
Mm-hmm.
that has played all the Pokemon games through probably emulators and whatnot. No discussion on those, of course, right now, because that's an iffy topic,
Yeah.
especially with Nintendo. But it's still the point of you're the hardcore fan. The common fan for Nintendo games, and I think for Pokemon,
Mm-hmm.
is something like a 10-year-old kid. Probably a boy who plays the Switch in handheld and has only really got Fortnite and a smattering of like Mario Kart, Pokemon, and that because that's what mum and dad has bought him, thinking that they're very PG, you know.
I feel like with the Switch,
And Mario.
it's a lot more diverse though. I feel like there are a lot more teens and such playing Pokemon games now. Especially if Pokemon cards being hype again. Pokemon is back in, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Pokemon is no longer the childish game. Same with Minecraft. There used to be the childish thing.
That's why the Switch has done so well,
Yeah.
is because the adult pickup and older teenagers, it's got versatile market. So I'm just saying your largest demographic is that. And so Nintendo, hence why Chibi art style works and all of that, kids don't care about art style particularly much. It's more about the actual how the game plays. They do to some degree, like I've said in the past year about how playing Super Mario Kart back on the SNES with cousins, they looked at it first and went, why on earth are we playing this, like when you've already got Mario Kart 8? Because they see them as near enough the same game, but one's inferior because it just doesn't look as good. Like they might look at Shovel Knight here and just go, why are you playing this old game, just playing a new one?
Just in Mario Bros, man. Oh, okay. Thanks, man.
But that just means that graphics can only go so far, where as long as it looks fresh and can pass off as modern, like I think if you were to put Super Mario Sunshine in front of my cousins, they wouldn't think much of it because it's a 3D game.
Yeah.
And I think 2D versus 3D is more the bigger factor, as well as like sprite art style.
It also looks pretty, dude. Sunshine looks really pretty with the water. So.
The GameCube really flexed on the water physics, didn't they?
Yeah, dude. I mean, dude.
Like Wave Race?
I mean, it was good, dude. It was a good physics, so you can't blame them.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, I guess that's why they called it Project Dolphin.
Ooh. Makes sense now, dude.
For the water.
Makes sense. What?
I didn't know it was Lost City was the name of Mole Knight. Huh.
No, his name is Mole Knight, but his map's called Lost City.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I didn't realize it was called Lost City.
I thought, wait.
I thought it was Undersea for some reason.
This is the 4 people that paid enough money to get their own character, dude. The Wandering Travelers. Look at that, dude. Woo. The 4 boys.
Dang.
Only fought one of them.
4 boys. Yo, that one's heavy metal, the second
Yeah,
from
dude.
the right.
Baz. Baz is in every story as well, dude. My man Baz. I mean, they're all in every story, but Baz is a funny one. Oh, my man, dude. A romantic.
Propeller note.
Living the life carefree. Oh, as you should, dude. Living the life
Oh, he gets all
carefree.
the ladies propeller night. Oh. Awkward Tower. This is quite a cool place. I do like it.
Oh,
I
yeah,
like the
dude.
little mice so much.
Look at the children, dude. Look at them. Oh, I made another robot. How nice of them. Talking about. Oh, dude, you talking about Pokemon Be for kids? Dude, look at that. 2 kids right now playing with a robot.
Cute. Yeah, so Pokemon's always going to be largely because it's such a tried true, like in the same with Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
You can trust Nintendo products to be family friendly, and we've seen them try and go with more adult IP over time, like Bayonetta, for example.
Yeah.
Is a Nintendo property now. It's no longer Platinum Games. It is Nintendo, and they still come out and already announced and said that.
Yeah.
Oh, you and Black Knight best buddies again?
Yeah,
now?
dude. See, dude,
Nice.
we both wanted to help Shoot Knight out, man. So we will find the same enemy. Enchantress.
Cute. I love it. But that's going to be such a big factor for Nintendo going forward, and hence why lifestyle branding is so easy. Like that Pokemon Smile, you know, the toothbrushing one.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
even
a weird
out?
one.
I don't know yet. But that was so cute, and I love it. But you know, I'm never going to use it. But it don't matter because
Why not, dude?
they're trying to get kids in early to be in love with Pokemon, and then you know they go and get the Pokemon game and
It's
such.
actually
It's
kind of
great.
scary. Kind of scary, dude. It's like a cult. Maybe don't look out.
Mm.
If you want to teach them early, at a young age.
It is a
look out.
little bit cultish, yes. The cult of Pokemon.
Oh man.
Praise be the mighty Pikachu.
Pikachu broke a back. It's all mine, dude.
And heck, that you do. Hey,
Hey.
you know, with Scientology, they get a lot of celebrities in to, you know, promote their cult. I mean,
Post Malone?
Scientology, it's a religion, it's not a cult. Yeah, they had just got Post Malone in, Katy Perry coming up. Was
Play-Doh
it,
balloon.
Jay Bevlin? Perhaps Pokemon is becoming a cult too.
Well, luckily I'm a part of it, dude. Luckily I'm gonna stay far away from it, dude.
Yeah,
I wish you
you're
guys
not indicted into it yet. We will see.
I wish you guys
coming
good
up.
luck in the Pokeballs, dude.
In the Pokemon world, Chewie, Arceus is the god. He is the first Pokemon,
Oh,
right?
but I'm the god.
So
That's true.
perhaps it's all coming together on the 25th anniversary when they bring out Legends Arceus. They will fully go full cult. We'll see.
No way, PogChamp, hype, dude.
You know, Jediism is an actual religion. We've got the census in the UK coming up next month, and last census, they like Jediism was recognised as a proper religion in the UK
Oh,
just
man.
because enough people put them down. So I wonder if we're gonna get the Pokemon religion. as
Probably, dude. It probably already exists,
Yeah.
dude.
well. Yeah.
Well, I'm
I
gonna
bet
join the
you-
Shovel Knight religion. That's my cult. Shovel Knight.
The Shovel Knight. Oh, you're into one of those minor religions.
Yeah,
one of
dude.
those obscure ones.
We
You're
all
a
well-
religion hipster.
Dude, you look at the face, dude, and you see all of us in our armor, dude, in medieval armor and with a shovel. Ow! Ow!
Okay, to finish out the podcast, Cheer, then,
Alright, alright.
if you were a knight, because you're not a shovel knight, you're
okay.
following the religion of knights. You know, you've got
yeah,
King
yeah.
Knight,
Mhm.
Spectre Knight, Plague Knight, all of that. What knight are you?
Kazoo Knight. It's that simple, dude. Hey, but the
Kazoo
Kazoo.
Knight.
Not Kazoo.
Oh, Kazoo
The
Knight.
Kazoo Knight, dude. Dude,
Alright.
I'm a Kazoo legend, dude. I have multiple Kazoos in my room right now, dude.
He-
A quick preview.
I was expecting you there to go find the Kazoo.
There it is, dude.
There we go.
There it is. I'm the Kazoo Knight. And you? What will you be for a Pokemon?
I oh,
Pokemon.
no. I think just because my name being Bacon, I'd be Chef Knight. You know, and
Can-
I cook up a mean fight for you. You know,
Can you actually cook though?
there
Question
with my frying. I could cook.
Okay,
I
okay.
cooked a lovely steak last night. Yeah.
mark? Okay. Well, maybe one day
I'm
you
a
have to
good
do one
chef.
for me. One day you have to cook for me, dude.
One day, after all this thing, all this crazy madness is over, we
Chef
can actually travel
Bacon.
again.
Nice.
Chef back on. We'll have a cooking podcast. How about that? as
Oh
well?
man. Cook and chill. They're not, dude.
Oh, cook and chill.
Oh, dude,
But-
look at that. Over an hour and a half. Hate to see it.
Time played 144. I didn't realize it had gone on for that long.
Well,
Dang.
it's almost
I
2 hours,
enjoyed
dude.
it today.
It's almost 2 hours, the podcast. I can guarantee you that already.
Dang. So, Chew, as we close up the podcast, I would love to ask the guys at home. I know on a lot of platforms, like especially where the podcast is going out, you can't
Mhm.
reply. But over on YouTube, even if you didn't watch on YouTube, you just listened to the podcast, head on over to YouTube and tell us what knight would you be? I'd love to know the answers from people at home, like what creative knights there would be. We've got Chef Knight Bacon, and Kazoo Night
Yes.
Chewie Kazooie.
Chewie
I love
Kazooie,
that
the
song.
Knight.
Oh, what happened to Shield Knight?
She's still alive, dude. She's back.
She's just hurting. That's it.
Yeah, but the end. There you go, dude. We have
She needs a little bit.
a
of
great
rest.
ending. Just like us. We need to rest up, dude. It's getting late. The bar has already closed down, dude. We're way past the closing time. We just sat there. Dude, they already turned the lights off, dude. They've got me here. That's how long we've been here.
Just have to head out into the night. Guys, take care, of course. Lovely being able to talk to you, Chewie, and then, of course,
Was
talk
fun.
to all you guys at home. Make sure to head on over to YouTube. Tell us what knight you are. And,
Please,
of course,
please tell
until
us.
next time, until next week,
Bye-bye.
stay safe.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you soon.